an expert testifying for the prosecution, now being cross-examined by the defense. It's getting heated inside. Let's take a look.
It would be impossible for Dr. Murry to have injected the propofol, he said, without a saline wash. Remember that conversation? Remember you injected in front of the jury and it went down the tube and didn't reach, and you said that shows it's impossible. Remember that?
Objection. I don't know what word impossible is used.
I don't believe.
Well, what did you say?
Wait a minute. The objection sustained. Misstates the evidence. You may re-ask. Go ahead, Mr. Chernoff.
You can, in your own words, just explain what your demonstration was all about.
That tubing that you were just holding was used to infuse the propofol from the propofol bottle. And we know that the Excel set was not used.
Let me stop you for a second, Shafer. Dr. Shafer, you're talking about from the propofol bottle yesterday? Is that what you're saying? Okay, go ahead then, I'm sorry.
We know that the Excel set was not used because there's no air vent. Without an air vent, the Excel set would not remove the propofol from the bottle. That's how we know the Excel set was not used.
Now,
may I correct how you stated my testimony earlier?
no, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. This particular IV line that you showed to the jury, right? I'm looking at...
Yes, the Braun infusion set.
And I'm going to tell you that it is identified as XX.
Okay.
This, and by the way, show us real quick where the venting is on this.
The vent is right.
If you could step just a little bit back, Mr. Chernoff, so the juror's view is not obscured.
This is the vent right here. You'll recall that it did not run until I opened the vent so that the air could come in.
So, you would agree with me then, or your testimony is that without a vented line, you're not going to be able to infuse from a bottle, right?
Correct.
And this particular line, which is marked as XX,
Yes.
the only reason that you brought it to show the jury, the only possible reason you had evidence that it was used was that you had a Seacoast medical record that a bunch of these were purchased in June. Is that right?
That is wrong.
You had other evidence that that line was used, that line was at the scene?
No, you misstated the evidence.
Okay. Well, did you have other evidence that that line was at the scene?
The evidence you stated was not correct.
Okay, well, was it purchased in July, August, May? Do you have the records?
I have the records, and I'll refer to them exactly.
Dr. Shafer's viewing something on his laptop.
Give me one moment if you may.
Okay, anytime.
I'm looking at the notes, which are in evidence, from Seacoast Medical. And what I see on the notes from Seacoast Medical is that on the 17th of March, there is a note that says, that probably is the 25th of March, basically saying mostly M/S, including safe site 105778, which is that piece, on the 17th of March, which I'll enter as a separate drop ship for Dr. Murry. The credit card was then declined on 3/26. And on 4/13, Connie called and says, "Doctor needs supplies but wants to know if we can ship to a California residential address. Based on the history here, I see this as another red flag," and told her we'd rather not. So this is, as far as I can tell from the notes from Seacoast Medical, the set that I brought is a set that Dr. Murry requested be drop shipped to a California residential address.
Is that what you're relying on? Because I want to make sure that's what you're relying on.
This is the evidence that suggested to me that that set was intended to be used as indicated.
Is that what you're relying on, Dr. Shafer?
Do you mean, is that all of the evidence?
Is that all you're relying on?
No, Dr. Murry had ordered these in the past for his Las Vegas address. He had ordered them in 2007, 2008, so it seemed likely that this was a set of tubing that he was familiar with.
It's also tubing that he ordered every few months. His office ordered every few months too, right?
No, I actually have a summary of the orders, and it was less frequent than that.
But you would agree that he ordered it frequently, that he ordered it many times from the same supplier. I believe the testimony was 4 times. Is that right?
He ordered it on 7/20/07. He ordered it on 10/5/07. He ordered it on 6/24/08 and on 4/24/09, 4 times over 4 years, over 3 years. Over 2007, 2008, and 2009, he ordered it 4 times.
And you understand that Dr. Murry had a cardiology practice. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
You don't see it particularly suspicious that any item would be ordered, any IV item would be ordered for a cardiology clinic, would you?
No.
So you're saying that based on the fact that the very last order was in March of 09, you're putting this IV setup in Michael Jackson's room.
Objection, this states the testimony, Your Honor. He previously testified it's because it's vented. It was an option.
Well, the objection is overruled. I'll allow you to answer and you can explain. That's why you're putting this in Michael Jackson's room on June 25th, 2009, right?
We need a vented infusion set to explain the rent, to explain the hole in the bottle of propofol that was found. I've inspected the bottle as carefully as I can, and I can find no evidence of a needle hole other than the white spike, other than the hole from the white spike. I would be happy to look at the evidence again for you, but in the absence of another way of getting air into that bottle, a vented infusion set was used. This is the only vented infusion set I found in the Seacoast orders. There could be others.
What you just said was we needed a vented infusion set for an infusion to be possible, really. Is that what you're saying?
For that bottle. On other days, one doesn't, if there had been a needle hole in the stopper, you can just take a needle and push it through the rubber and use that to get the air in. But the bottle that I examined did not have such a needle hole. So that particular bottle, the propofol was removed with a vented infusion set. He could have used a different one.
Or none at all?
No, how do you get, there's...
Well, Doctor, your opinion, you do understand the difference between opinion and fact, don't you? Do you?
I'll suspend the objection.
You understand that everything you said in the last 2 days was your opinion. You do understand that, right? Do you understand that?
I stated my name, which I think is a matter of fact. Much of what I have testified is basically standards of the practice of medicine. It might be the opinion that I have as a physician, but I believe it's that's an interesting question. To say that one should not lie at UCLA Medical Center is my opinion. If you want to stretch the term opinion to that length, then I will agree that my statement that one should not lie at UCLA Medical Center is my opinion.
You were asked to come here, doctor, to state your medical opinion about certain things. Is that right?
That is correct.
And one of the medical opinions you stated was the actual occurrences that happened in Michael Jackson's room on June 25th, 2009.
Objection, this states the testimony.
Overruled.
Isn't that right?
Please repeat the question.
One of the things that you were asked your opinion about that you testified to yesterday were the actual occurrences
the actual IV setup, infusion, how Michael Jackson received the propofol that was in his body. Isn't that right? Is that not your
The nature
opinion?
of the question is, was I asked to do that? If the nature of the question is, was I asked to do that, I don't recall if Mr. Walgren made a request that I do that or not. I simply did that.